you go ahead and start, Janine, and I'll go ahead and get an agenda.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Welcome to the Doylestown Township Environmental Advisory Council meeting. It is June 8th, 2021, and I see that we have Marcello on at Zoom, and we have our supervisor liaison, Dan Wood, and we have 5 members, plus our advisor from the township, Aaron Walliser. So excellent. Welcome, everyone. Let's get started. We have a lot to talk about, as always. So let us begin with minutes approval for the May 11th meeting. Did everybody have a chance to look at it? And Jim, you want to update some of the corrections?
So I did send an amended minutes based on the comments I got from Ann Woodbury. She asked me to correct a few things. I don't know. So, and mostly they had to do with who was going to follow up certain activities. So I had mixed up Aaron in one case for Ann, and she asked me to correct those things. So I would ask you to consider the revised minutes.
And I'm good with them. I'm good with the changes. Does anyone else have anything to say?
They look good to me.
I wasn't there.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't there, so.
That's right, you were. I'm good. So,
Okay, so I guess the revised minutes are accepted.
so, all right.
Yep.
Yes, I guess we have to go through the process, right?
Move acceptance of minutes.
Okay, second. Okay, good. All in favor? Aye. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Budget review. You know what? I didn't print it out, darn it. But I do know that the tarps came out of the EAC budget. Thank you, Aaron. We have 3 beautiful tarps, Marty, for the garden. Big tarps.
Tarps.
Yeah. So when we take debris out of the garden, we put them on the tarps and then dump them into the township trailer. So we bought 3 nice tarps with EAC money, and I thank you, Aaron, for making sure that we know that. Yeah.
So year to date, we've spent less than $1,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
Tarps are usually very inexpensive.
What's that, Marty?
Tarps are usually very inexpensive.
Yeah, but we got really big, strong ones that will last
Well,
years.
that's important.
Yeah.
Part of this is also related to the sign.
In other words,
the sign we paid for.
We're not going to haul it now to a center pile. We'll put them on the 3 tarps and then they'll pick them up.
No, we're going to dump them from the tarps into the trailer.
They don't want us to dump them in that pile anymore.
Well, actually, this past time, we did dump them into a pile because we couldn't use the trailer. But we do have these tarps now, and it's great. It's working out great.
Good.
Okay, anybody else? Budget? Okay. Done. Let's move on. New business. Aaron, maybe you can help us understand the item 1 under new business is that we need clarification on the parks policy regarding informational signage, like those tree signs that we walked around and placed, and then there was controversy about that. And the proposal that we made for signs at Neiman Trail, Bridgepoint, Castle Valley. Should we meet with Parks and Recreation formally, or can you enlighten us?
So I'll start with the first one, the informational signage. What we have done is fine. There is no issue there. There was a miscommunication within the Park and Recs board about like park signs and then our signs, and it just wasn't communicated correctly and they kind of got conflated. The 2x3 foot signs that we're doing for informational purposes, those are what Parks Department is looking for. And just to continue that size and that kind of format that we've been doing over time, that was a new issue. In terms of the placement of future signs, there's no need to meet with the Park and Recs board for that. They are just looking for a plan from us. You know, we want to put this sign, we want to make this sign, we want to put it here before we actually start making signs. And so once we have that plan together, going forward across the different parks, you know, that can be re-signed, then we can go ahead and present that for them so that they have that for their information.
So the new tree signs are ready to roll, aren't they?
Correct. And the Parks Department and stuff is most likely going to place those 2 signs down on the Neiman Trail.
Oh, the tree signs are going on the Neiman Trail.
Yes,
Oh, so we don't have input into their placement.
not on those two signs.
Okay.
I believe that Karen probably would work with you in terms of where in the Neiman you would want to put them, but I think that's where she wants to target those two signs, because those two signs also fit pretty well with the ecosystems that are down there, because you do have forestation with the waterways as well.
We,
So I'm sorry, we're talking about two future signs, not the tree
We're
signs.
talking
No, the
about
tree
the
signs.
existing tree
I
signs.
see.
Yeah, and you know, we had made a proposal about signs to go on the Neiman Trail. We had,
There was a proposal for 3 additional signs as well.
oh, so there are gonna be 5 signs down there.
That's the way it had stood at the moment. I think that's where the idea of the plan came from, is because these will go down there, they wanted to see kind of a plan. Well, let's not, overpopulate a particular
Yeah,
area or park with signs.
Yeah,
Let's spread them out
5
to
signs
different
is starting
parks.
to be a lot, I think.
yeah, 5 sounds like a lot along that trail.
Yeah.
It does. It sounds crowded.
What's
Is
up? I
this
mean, it is a,
this
it is a
in
big trail.
Hartwoods?
Yeah.
This is along the,
Yeah.
along the trail, what is the name of that trail?
Neiman.
The Neiman Trail on the other side of Wells Road?
Is it in the Hartwoods?
No,
No, it's the one
No.
by the development,
Other way.
right, Doylestown.
The other way.
yeah,
Down by the river.
across Wells Road, along the Chamonix Creek.
Oh, where the bluebird nest are.
Yes,
Okay.
So, shall we plan on assisting in the placement of the 2 tree signs?
Yes, on the trail, yes.
Okay, so.
Um,
Are these new trees or trees that are there?
New tree signs.
signs. There's signs about trees.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mario, you might not have seen them, but they're beautiful and they're finished. But all right, so, I guess we'll just, is it okay if via email, we just get a couple of people together, and should we meet with Karen down there sometime
Yes.
soon? So we can get them up.
Let me give her a heads up, and I'll send you an email quick back. I talked to Karen, go ahead and reach out. Just give her a heads up,
Okay,
because this has been a busy week for her.
okay. So,
But yes, I would like, and I think she would be open to having you guys go down on the trail and walk
Alright.
through and come up with something collaborative in terms of
yeah,
placement.
I think we need to look, there's a giant sycamore down there, there's a beautiful shagbark hickory down there. Maybe we could place these 2 tree signs next to those significant trees, so we can help find those spots. So I'll hear from you then, Aaron, and
Yes.
we'll get a group together, okay? All right, thanks. So there's no need to meet with Parks and Rec, but we also, let me just make sure I'm clear and everybody else is clear. We also need to meet or talk at some point in the near future about signs for additional Neiman Trail, Ridge Point, and Castle Valley.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct, but you guys is EAC, they gave you the power to come up with your own plan for that, how you want to proceed, how many you want to do, where you want to do them.
Okay,
Put that together in an overall plan, and then bring that to the
Okay.
Park and Recs board for collaboration. They don't
Okay.
see any need for them to be part of the planning part of that. They just want to see a plan in place.
okay,
Once we get a sign, every other sign should be exactly like that. So you have continuation of, so you don't get a bunch of different looking signs. Once we
Yes.
get a sign, all other signs should be the same.
and we are working toward that.
Right?
Even the posts and the frames are going to look the same.
They
You're right.
should.
Yeah, they should.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed, yep. Marty, before you leave tonight, maybe, Aaron, are those 2 signs
They're
still
still
in your, yeah? You might want to look at those 2 tree signs because they're very attractive. And you might want to be on this group that helps to place them.
Okay.
Okay, that would be terrific. All right, so I feel clarified. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Moving on then, we had a bench that Don Richardson's partner bought
Yes.
for the park, and she wanted it placed by the native plant demonstration garden. I was under the impression that that was going to be by the garden, and I was also under the impression that it is ready to be placed. What's going on with that?
Just like everything else in COVID, it's still on its way. It's stuck in shipping right now.
Oh, it's not here yet?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
So, I think those are valid concerns, little head of, horses ahead of, the cart on that one, we just don't have it yet.
Okay,
But we did get
And I-
notification recently that it has finally shipped. About early last week, we got that notification.
okay. Because we have chosen a spot.
Yeah.
I hope there's no
I don't
objection.
think, I don't think that has changed.
Okay.
As far as I know, that has not changed.
Okay, that's good to hear because it's perfect. Those of us who have had a chance to look at the spot and help to choose that spot, it's going to look so beautiful because the placement of the bench is going to avail the sitter on the bench a wide view of the basin and the garden.
I want to double, now that you mention it, you make me want to double check and make sure, since this got started before it came on,
Yes,
I want to make sure that,
And we
I'm talking
planted
about it,
a
I
tree
can
for
confirm
Tom.
everything, but I believe that was still the plan. But
Okay.
let me double check, just because I'm not 100% certain.
okay, let me know.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Erin.
Then we planted a tree for Don.
And it's there, and it's
Now,
very,
that bench doesn't go near the tree.
the bench is near the tree. If it's placed where we have cited it, we have agreed on the spot. And
I
it's
thought,
right near the tree.
I didn't hear anything, but I thought because of the bench, the tree, the bench would be close to the tree.
That's the plan, yes, but we're not 100%. So Aaron's gonna check and make sure that the placement is where we thought it would be, by the yellowwood tree that we planted for Dawn.
Right.
So it's a perfect spot, so I'm hoping that sticks.
I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but let me check.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, informational brochures, cards, posters about EAC and about the trees based on the signs for table events. Now, Jim, did you and Kara have a chance to talk about that at all?
We did connect by email. I threw out a few ideas, and she indicated that she was going to be going away for some period of time,
Mhm.
and I've not heard back from her, to be
Okay,
honest.
so
So
just,
it's ongoing.
okay, so ongoing. Our first table event with EAC, with an EAC presence at a summer concert is June 23rd. Tanya, I think that's you and me.
I have it on
So
the calendar.
it's coming up. We probably won't have those brochures, but it's okay. We have plenty of information to share with residents, not a problem at all. Okay, item D, Master Watershed Steward work on invasive plants in the Environmental Education Center area. I met with Jane Neal this past Saturday, and this project has been approved by the township and by Penn State Extension.
Wow.
And so when Jane has organized a group of master watershed stewards, the work will begin between the two signs that are on the garden side of the basin. It's a pretty long area, and we took a good hard look at it this Saturday morning. Calorie pear, multiflora rose.
You look angry.
Man, there's some bad guys in there. They're gonna be coming out starting this summer. So that project will begin soon. I don't have a date yet. Jane's gonna be handling it, but I'll be
Okay.
her connection to
So
EAC.
I'm sorry, do we don't have a date to start the work?
Not yet.
Okay, and are we looking for volunteers beyond the master gardeners?
No, we're not.
You anticipate having a lot of people.
I think at least 6 or 8,
Yeah,
which will be a lot of hands.
that's a lot of hands, yeah.
You know, and Jane and I agree that because in our experience, 2 hours at a pop is about all people can do, especially in the heat of
In
the
the
summer,
summer, yeah.
even if we start early.
Is it
So
on a slope?
on the basin, yeah, that slope that goes
That
down,
makes it even harder.
yeah, it's gonna be hard work. So we're figuring 2 hours, as many people as can show up will, and we're going to target one bad guy at a time. So the first time, it'll be multiflora rose, and there's a lot of it. So we'll be doing
Well, if
that.
I'm bent over and there's another multiflora rose and then another bad guy next to it, you're gonna believe that bad guy's gonna get out of it, get out, raising up.
Why waste the trip?
When you get my age, every move counts.
It's gonna be kind of fun, but I don't think that Jane would object if anybody else wanted to show up and work, you know, but the work will begin pretty soon. Master watershed stewards, just like master gardeners, are required to put in 20 volunteer hours a year. So
And
everybody,
it's been hard to get that
it has been.
in the last year.
Yeah, this last year has been tough, so the watershed stewards are going to be grateful for the opportunity to get the volunteer hours.
That's probably why you had so many volunteers last week at the garden, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most of them were master gardeners, right?
Yes, sir, and they're interested in getting those hours, so it's all good. So that project's gonna begin pretty soon. I can't wait. It's gonna be tough, though.
We're gonna start with multiflora rows.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's the plan.
Everybody better have gloves.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah.
Long pants, boots.
Yeah. boy.
And is that gonna compete with the garden workday?
No, we're not gonna do it the same day.
Okay.
No, especially because some master gardeners are also master watershed stewards. And,
I see.
we don't want it to be the same day.
Yeah.
It would be too.
Janine, this is the,
You with the trash,
It will, the same process.
on the two
We'll use the
tarps
trash.
or three tarps.
Well, I don't see why EAC tarps can't be used for that purpose. So we can use the tarps.
I would hope that there'd be 3 times as much. You need 3 times more tarps, I would hope.
We'll see how it goes the first time, and we'll fill up the township trailer if it's available. And-
Janine,
I'm sorry?
this is Eric. I just wanted to clarify, I think that we were thinking about doing this like after hours, like 6 o'clock on a Wednesday evening sort of thing, not on the weekends.
Okay, great. Like 6 o'clock on a weekday evening. Thank you.
Something like that, yes.
Okay. Evening, midweek, or during the week.
Right. And it's still, it's quite cool by then, and you have at least 2 hours of daylight, and it doesn't interfere with weekend plans. I think it's a good
Thanks,
mix.
Eric. I forgot that part of it. Thank you
How
for
about that?
clarifying that. It's important. Yeah, so, people can come after work. So,
It's a nice after work
It's a
activity.
nice thing, And then
You're sitting
some,
at a desk all day?
Yeah.
yeah,
Take up the day's rage on some weeds and then.
there you go, yeah. That multiflora rose. Yeah, get it out of there. So the one other thing I wanted to mention about that is Phragmites. We won't get to the Phragmites probably for a year. And in the meantime, let's do some research about the best method of removing Phragmites. It's a reed. It's the common reed that you see it's all over.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And the seed heads, maybe this year in the fall or before the fall, we can cut the seed heads off.
What's the plan again?
Phragmites, the reed, the common reed, it's non-native. It's
A reed.
Reed, yeah, you know it, it's everywhere.
When we cut the multiflora rows, you just gonna cut it and go on?
I'm not sure yet. I think, Eric, have we decided how we're going to get rid of the multiflora rose?
I think that the butt has to be painted with something so it don't come up again.
Well, if we start putting poison on that, and then we have to get all kinds of permission from the township, and they have to authorize it, and they have to do it, and all the rest of it. If we simply cut it and pull it out of there, then that'll do that'll go a long way towards killing them. We may have to do that more than once, but it does avoid some of the permission getting that we have to do. So we could do either way. I mean, it'd be fine. It's just that I don't want to delay the project waiting, or I think that we should consider not delaying the project waiting for permission to use Roundup.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that anyway. Only a township employee can apply herbicide.
Yeah,
So-
exactly right. So if you cut these things and drag them out of there, that goes a long way towards making them go away.
You're not gonna take the root out, are you?
We may. It depends on. What do you think, Marty?
Man, they got some wicked ass roots. I mean, you need a machine, a good sized one.
There's one theory that
Single man
one
cannot pull one out.
it's a good idea to leave the roots in there, because what will happen is if you cut these things like a foot above the ground, then the plant will respond to that cutting by putting out more shoots off of that stalk sticking out of the ground. So then when you come back a month later, or 2 months later, and cut that stalk down another 6 inches, the plant will have used up all its regenerative energy on that. In other words, it kind of forces the plant to try to save the part that you've remained. See what I mean? And then you continually let it dump all its energy into something that you're just going to cut. Where if you try to go after the roots, If you fail to get all the roots, then you have 20 shoots come up from the ground. And instead of one simple cut, it becomes a little bit more work to get it out. But both techniques work.
I guess we'll figure it out as we go. There's lots of it, so we'll figure it out. And some of it may be a little experimental, but eventually that basin is going to be transformed. It's going to be beautiful again. There's some wonderful trees there. So we'll be saving the beautiful trees too. So, and there's some nice shrubs. About 20 years of Arbor Days have planted really good trees and shrubs around that basin. So removing the invasives it'll actually restore the whole area.
Right now, you can't even see into it, can you?
It's hard, yeah, it's hard.
This way, we clean it up really good. Visually, you'll be able to see the pond,
Yep, and then we can,
which is really pretty.
it's gonna be beautiful. Yeah, who knows how this will evolve. Okay, thanks Eric for giving us the details on that project. Eric, do we have a start date yet?
No.
Okay, let us know, okay? Eric is Jane Ingles' husband. So,
Jane's organizer.
just to clarify. Okay, gang.
I'm just the grunt work.
What was that?
He said he's.
I'm just the grunt work.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've all seen you. I mean, anybody who's been at the garden when you're there, we know that you love to pull down vines. So you're the vine maker. Thank you for that. It's very valuable.
I think there's an older guy too that likes to pull vines.
Yeah, and multiflora. Hate that stuff.
Okay.
Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
I
right.
look like him.
I don't know. Well, he's not on, Marty. His picture isn't up.
Well, I am now because I'm busy
Oh, there
walking.
he is. Okay, there he is.
I'm walking to the
Yeah, that
township.
looks more like
We've got
him.
about
Yeah,
15 minutes.
now you know.
He's a good worker, but
Yes,
he
he is.
loves to pull those vines.
Okay,
I think he wants to be Tarzan.
you've seen him, so right. Okay, so let's talk about the collaboration with Bucks Beautiful to improve the Indian Rock site by the amphitheater in Central Park. We had a great meeting. Anne's not here tonight, but I hope you read her summary of that meeting. It was a really good one. Aaron was there, and Karen was there, Stephanie was there, Denise Cezak from Bucks Beautiful, Judy Stern Goldstein was there, and Anne and I were there. So it was a sizable group. I think we agree that we can make that Indian Rock something attractive and more meaningful and symbolic of the importance and acknowledging symbolically the importance of the Lenni Lenape presence in our township. As a follow-up, Ann and I went down to Churchville Nature Center and we did a little research. I have generated a list of shrubs and trees that Lenni Lenape people used according to Churchville Nature Center's research.
Is
So-
pokeberry on it?
Pokeberry is not there, but it ought to be.
'Cause
Anyway,
the
we can
Indians used to
put
make
that
ink
in-
out of that.
Yeah, and it's really, I love
Yeah,
pokeberry.
it's not a bad looking plant.
No, here's the problem though. That rock is used as a photo op for a lot of families, a lot of children. Right now, there's one shrub in the front of it, and then there's the rock, and you really can't see that there's a Belgian block arrow that's inset into the ground. We're hoping that we can put a tree and some shrubs, but not a lot of perennials or blooming plants because it's also a favorite site for dogs. So we're going to have to figure that out. We will figure it out. But
We
right
looked
now,
at it before.
say again,
We looked at it before. I was with a group, one time we looked at it.
we've been talking about this for at least
Yeah.
5 years. I
Right.
remember Tanya said, I remember you clearly said we need to have an indigenous person who advised us. So that's the other thing we found out at Churchville Nature Center. We got the name of a woman, Marge Custer, I think her name is, She's the person who runs the Lenape Village at Churchville Nature Center. She will be able to help us get a voice.
She's actually an Indian.
And there's a person named Doug Moore at Pensbury Manor in Yardley. And he too is going to give us some advice and perhaps a voice from a Lenape person or an indigenous person from this area. So we're working on two angles, which plants.
That was confusing listening to the echoes. You were walking down the hall.
Oh, here you are.
Hey, wow, it's like a TV show where the guy just shows up on the wings.
Well, so we're moving along on that, and Bucks Beautiful will be giving us a grant for the plant material. So we're pretty excited about that. The Indian rock will be enhanced and made, I think, more significant as a result of our work. It might take a year, but we're hoping to get something planted this fall. More on that as it develops. Any questions about that?
How big's that arrow?
I'd say about half the size of this table. It's kind of, what'd you say, Aaron?
Roughly.
Yeah, about that big.
Yeah, that's a shame. I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's covered with grass.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so we have some ideas. We'll have to come up with a design. Judy Stern Goldstein will.
She's still associated with it?
She's our township planner, and so she'll.
Did she lose her job where she originally
She's
was?
working with Gilmore now.
Okay, she went with Gilmore.
Yeah, she went with Gilmore.
Okay.
But she'll be approving whatever design we generate. So I think, did I cover everything about that meeting, Aaron? Okay, it was good. I'm excited about it. We've been talking about it for so many years. I think finally it's gonna look like something and have more meaning.
Does that warrant a sign down there?
Is it what?
Warrant a sign?
Yes.
I would think so.
There needs to be a sign of some kind, but that'll be up for discussion. We'll figure
Yeah.
that out too. Yeah. I had a brainstorm about that when we were at Churchville Nature Center, but I won't belabor it because it was just an idea. I'll share it with you later, so we don't have to be here all night, right? Okay, anyway, lots of ideas, and if you guys have ideas, please pass them on, okay? Jim, we can put the list of plants in the minutes.
Yeah.
These are the ones that Churchville Nature Center had identified as already, and they have a real nice display in there. But we could add or subtract, but it's worth looking at. Okay, so EAC Summit in October, co-sponsored by Solebury Township EAC. I've been in touch with Eric Allen, the chair of the Solebury Township EAC. And if you guys agree, October 20th is a day that we'd like to have a summit, especially focused on deer. We could have other subjects, but that would be the primary focus. Aaron, there's a form that I have to fill out to try to reserve the big conference room
Yes.
for the evening of October 20th. I couldn't download it.
Okay,
So could you print it out for me?
I'll help you out with that, yeah.
Okay, thanks, because I don't know what the form is, but I'd like to get it in like yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, because it would be really cool. Does that sound okay to the rest of you? October 20th in the evening,
Like it's like at 7 p.m.
6:37, something like
And
that,
what day of the week is that?
That's
Wednesday.
a Wednesday.
a Wednesday.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Eric Allen from Solebury said they will co-sponsor, they will work with us. But I thought we could have it here because we have that big room. So I'd like to get permission to use that room. It's not definite yet. I have to fill out the form and get approval. Okay?
Can I ask, Aaron, do you know, I know that Andrea was keeping a email distribution list for local EACs. I have part of a list, it may be very much overlapping, but if you happen to come across her EAC list, that would help us for the distribution.
So we need to plan. We did have an EAC summit plan, and we're gonna have to move along with that now. I forgot to put it here in front of me. But we have to decide who is going to do what for the summit. So who will preside, who will who will be in charge of refreshments, what refreshments will there be, who will be in charge of speakers. So is there anybody here tonight who would like to help with this summit in any way possible?
Wow.
Thanks, Tanya.
Yeah, I'm happy to help as well.
Great, okay, so
Hello.
we can, and then I think Solbury will have at least 2 people. Okay.
We've done a Deer Summit before.
We've never had a deer summit, not that I know of.
Is it open to, oh, sorry.
Solbury has had.
I'm sorry, Marcel, were you asking something?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Gene. Is it open to non-members as well? Is it open to the public? Is it only for EAC members to attend the summits?
We've usually had just EAC members there, I think.
Okay.
You're a regular attender now.
You don't have to do anything special. I was just curious. I appreciate it. It sounds very interesting. That's why.
You know, Marcella, remember when Priya and I were talking about the guy that she works with?
Yes.
I think, is his name Jay Allen?
Hey, Priya, is the gentleman's name the Professor Jay Allen at your college?
I think so, but I don't know him personally.
She doesn't know him personally, but she believes that's his name.
Jay.
Okay, so we're looking
Jay,
at.
yeah.
Speaker, he worked with Solbury Township to do a deer inventory this past winter. And he really knows deer.
He does.
Yeah, Marcella's wife works with him, not personally, but knows him, of him. And we also, we might have another speaker about the use of venison for distribution to food banks.
Yeah.
There's actually an organization that's been doing that for years. So we're looking at 2 possible speakers about deer management, the use of venison for food banks, you know, and we're open at this point. We need a lot of input from whoever has an idea for speakers, for other subjects. I mean, we don't have to talk only about deer, but that would be a good primary discussion.
I think,
So how
don't
do you do
forget
that with
Dave Benner.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Don't forget Dave Benner.
Dave Benner, is he okay? Last I heard, he was sick.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
I haven't heard either.
He's getting up there too.
I know. Okay, do you think we could get in touch with Dave Benner? What subject do you think Dave would want to talk about?
Well, at the school, he did, and I tried to get in on it and I couldn't. But he does a dinner collecting from the field.
Oh, a foraging dinner?
Yeah.
Good.
He's a great guy.
I know, I've been in his presence several times.
He's the one that really saved Hart's Woods too.
Yeah, he and Malcolm Crooks.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you think you could give him a call?
I will.
Thank you, Marty. And see, wouldn't it be fun to hear about his foraging dinner? Yeah.
I don't know if he knows about Indians, but boy, he's well versed on what's edible in the woods. It's
That's-
unbelievable.
That would be a lot of, would you, let me know if you'd get in touch with him, because he would be a great addition if he's still doing speaking engagements. Okay,
So Janine, quickly, so with using venison in food banks, how does that work with
Well-
chronic wasting disease?
it doesn't work with, I don't know how it works with chronic wasting
Okay.
disease. That would be a great question to get.
Because I know one of
answered.
our students was tracking that throughout Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a quarantine of some
Yeah,
deer.
yeah.
I have a group that hunts fine ground, and they give venison to the food bank, and I don't
But I assume they must have to check it or something, or
I don't
test it
know.
or something.
Yeah,
But
we'll have
I
to-
could give you their name.
That would be great.
They're a very progressive group. I mean, they get you to sign papers and everything, and very well organized.
Well, I think,
They don't kill enough deer as far as I'm concerned.
as far as I'm concerned either, but, you know, there are a lot of people who don't want to hear that. We need to raise consciousness about the damage that deer are doing to the understory, to wildflowers. Yeah, so we're hoping that that's part of what we discuss at this summit. So you guys who have ideas for speakers, let me know. Tanya, Kurt, you guys will be, you know, next month we'll start firming up who's going to do what, because I'll ask Eric Allen who's going to be working with us from Solberg. Okay, and we'll get together.
So the summit might be multiple topics.
We usually have one or two speakers. But this summit, because Solberry just did this inventory of their deer population, we've been talking for months about hearing about their inventory, about discussing deer, because we've also tried to get in touch with the county unsuccessfully so far to have a discussion about deer and deer management. So this is kind of the beginning of we hope, a larger conversation. So, we'll see where it goes.
I assume everybody saw the story about the wolves, right?
The wolves?
Yeah.
In Yellowstone?
No, about a study done up in, I think it was Michigan, about that one way to control deer is to have wolves.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so
Right.
it's study.
Right, I didn't see that particular article, but
Yeah,
that,
there is
yeah,
that came out with that.
yeah, well, in Bucks County, we're not gonna be seeing wolves
Well,
anytime
yeah.
soon.
I'm sorry, this is an aside, but I definitely saw a coyote in my yard just recently.
You know,
And I don't know if they, I guess they'll take that a small deer, I don't know, maybe a fawn or
They
something.
could probably take a fawn.
Well, apparently wolves won't actually take down a full-grown deer. A buck will definitely chase one off, but they scare the deer. So they stay away from the roads, they stay away from.
Migrate away.
Interesting. All right, I think we need more coyotes.
Well,
The top predators have a profound impact on the overall environment, way outsized to what they actually eat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
well, I think it's gonna be an interesting summit, and if we have a second subject, maybe it will be foraging or wild edibles, and we'll see where it goes from there. To answer your question, it looks like we're on to possibly two different subjects here. So we'll proceed with that next month and via email. Okay.
Oh, the plant list, yeah.
Just for a second.
Item G, EAC table of summer concerts. Tanya and I will be at the June 23rd. And Aaron, what we're going to need will be the tablecloth, the banner, all those brochures,
They're
and
already,
the bird collage.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to just figure out when and where to pick this stuff up.
Okay.
Yeah, the staff will have the table ready for us because they know that we'll be there. So, June 30th, Tanya and Jim. July 14th, Kara and Jim. August 11th, Tanya and me. And we're not going to need a table on the 21st.
So remind me the second date that I promised?
Let's see, July 14th. You're up for June 30th and July 14th. Is that still good for you?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna stand by my commitment, but if I can switch with somebody, I might do that.
Okay, see, let us know.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens.
Which is the one that's a problem?
The 14th of July, I might be away. Not sure. Don't make me change it.
Okay, it's fun to do this activity if anybody else would
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to step up. It's
yeah.
fun. We have a lot of interaction with residents. It's a lot of kids. It's fun. So I always enjoy it. So, okay, item H, Environmental Education Center activities for children. Now, I had a conversation with Karen Sweeney recently, and she was very interested in our involving children more at the Environmental Education Center. And Richard Louv is a national name about children and the outdoors and encouraging kids to be outdoors and to not be afraid and play in creeks and to get dirty and to pick up frogs. And, he's really interesting. If you haven't read either of these two books, especially, I only listed one.
Yeah, there's the first one.
Yeah, the first one is called Last Child in
Last
the
Child
Woods. Yeah, Last Child in the Woods by Richard Louv. It's terrific. And he's a California guy who has a big voice in environmental education and getting kids outdoors. In his book, which I did list here, called Vitamin N, he has about 100 different activities for kids outdoors. And one of them is some kind of scavenger hunt. And didn't we, Aaron, recently have some kind of scavenger hunt with a duck?
correct.
What was that about?
That was put on by Parks Department. They placed several images of ducks throughout the different parks, and basically was a scavenger hunt to see who could come up with the most ducks. Each duck had an activity associated with it that had a learning, goal to it. So there was actually one at the Native Plant Garden for a couple weeks.
Cool.
One up in Hartwood. A couple of the other parks had some as well. I think it told there was 12 different ones they could have found.
They didn't find regular ducks, did they?
No,
These were dummy, what do you call
these
it?
were just signs. So each
Signs.
sign had a QR code on it. If you scanned the sign, it'll tell you what you were doing at that sign.
Who organized it, Aaron?
That was Lisa Parcell.
And is she part of Parks and Rec?
She's she's new program coordinator for Parks and Rec.
Okay, if there's something that we can do to support that, I would like to propose that we do. And,
Okay.
and at the Environmental Education Center, which does encompass that whole basin area,
Mhm.
plus that PICO sponsored walk that is, I think, familiarly called the invasive plant walk. It's that little spur off to the side around the basin on the other side of the garden area.
Yeah, the rabbit trail.
Which, is it called the rabbit trail?
You always see a rabbit.
No, we see a rabbit, yeah. And there's a lot of invasive still in there, so it's still legit to call it the invasive plant trail. But wouldn't it be fun if at some point we got involved in the EEC, the Environmental Education Center area, with a scavenger hunt? And I'm thinking little kids, just little guys and their parents. And would you just perhaps, your name is Lucy?
Lisa,
Lisa Parcell?
correct.
I don't know her yet. Lisa Parcell,
Been here about 2 months so far.
okay. And her title again?
Program coordinator.
Program coordinator.
She's underneath the other one.
Yeah, she reports to Karen.
Okay, so she reports to Karen Sweeney.
Correct.
And I just wanted to propose tonight, I wanted to plant the seed of an idea, that we get something going. Dan, you've been bringing Connor to the garden since he was in diapers.
Yep.
And, wouldn't he enjoy, and I know he's not the Boy Scout you are. I've learned that about your son
So far.
so far. But wouldn't his age group enjoy poking around that area maybe?
Yeah, for a couple minutes.
For a couple minutes.
So
He's 5, right?
So I took my kids to Colonial Williamsburg when they were little, and I remember they all got these little bandanas, and there was like a scavenger hunt, but they were like secret spies, they had to get codes, and to this day they remember that. Like it was so hot there, but because at least they were doing that activity throughout, they had a great time.
Do you have anything you could remember to pass it on to us? Or you never know, maybe there was a brochure or something.
They were, yeah, maybe there's I'll
Yeah.
look through
But
stuff.
see,
It was a lot of fun.
I think there's something to be said for encouraging kids to be outside in our parks, especially in this place that we're calling an educational center. Come on, let's educate.
I think we make it as an event, like some sort of adventure for them.
Yeah,
That's
an
the
adventure.
teacher.
We have
Oh,
to
yeah.
brand it in a particular
Oh, yeah,
fashion that makes it exciting.
yeah, that's
Also
why,
speaking as a parent who needs something for their kids to do over the summer, yeah, that kind of thing can be helpful.
yeah, it would be. And I'm just throwing it out there as new business tonight, so it might not happen until next summer, but I think we should talk about it. More kids in the educational area. That's the bottom line. Okay, ongoing. So next week, the new rec center community building is on the Board of Supervisors agenda, unless that's changed. Jim?
June 15th. I don't know more than that. It's on the agenda. I don't know, maybe Dan, if you can update us.
Yeah, I actually spoke with our budgeting team this morning about it. We'll see where it goes. Right now, all the estimates are being done with the assumption that we're going to move the proposed construction will take place on the tennis and basketball courts. And as part of that, then the tennis and basketball courts will have to be moved. So that's where we're looking. It's going to be interesting because there's a lot of things to consider. Obviously, this group wants to see a positive environmental impact. I would as well. The cost is getting high for it, so I'm not sure what it's going to end up looking like at the end of the day as far as what facilities are going to be in there. But we will have a presentation where we're going to have a couple options presented to us. We'll see from there. One of my concerns is also just the rise in the cost of building materials right now. That I'm concerned about what our timeline should be, because if we were to build it next year, I'm not sure that's the smartest use of our money. If we could potentially wait for cost of lumber and that kind of thing to come down. So these are a lot of the factors that we're listening to. I'm hoping to have much more information on the environmental side. I have not heard anything on that yet, but this will also be the first time I've really heard like some solid proposals from our architects.
Okay, so is there going, do you know, Dan, if anybody is going to address our concerns at this upcoming meeting about sustainable building practices?
I don't know if that is going to be an agenda item, to be honest. I know it's been expressed and they should have that information from this group. I know myself, I know Jen Herring have expressed interest in that, so I'm hoping it's being taken into account, but I do not know for sure. I have not seen the agenda for that meeting yet.
Well, we had a pre-meeting with Aaron, and it was very helpful, but the focus of the way we're thinking about this is not to do a sustainable building just for the greater glory.
Mhm.
These things all pay back. And so there is a financial case to be made of why you build these things in at the front end, rather than either paying the cost of the wasted energy from now to forever, and there's a huge lump of money that gets associated with that, or trying to retrofit them later into a building, because they're much more costly to retrofit.
And when I talk about costs and that kind of thing, I'm not, like, I agree with that argument. Like, long-term, I believe that's the better plan to do as far as sustainable building goes. When I talk about costs, I'm talking more about, like, what is actually going to be inside this thing. We're supposed to see proposals about reducing the number of meeting rooms, taking out a smaller gymnasium, removing the gymnasium altogether. So when we're talking about, those are going to be the big cost items that we're going to be looking at.
This presentation is going to be a fairly high level look at the project. There will be the input that you guys had during the planning process when they were collecting this information back in February.
Right.
That will be included in there, but what's going to be presented is a very high level look at the project overall.
Okay, and I'm not opposed to any of that, but I just, the problem always gets to be is somebody makes a presentation that doesn't include any of the advanced energy features, there's a price tag. And then as soon as you say, well, what about, they say, oh, well, that's just gonna add more cost. And you get fixated on this price. Well, it's not really about the price. It's the price plus the running of the building. And the energy features pay back. An extra meeting room doesn't pay back. Fancier plumbing doesn't pay back. Fancier wall coverings don't pay back. The energy features do. And so I feel like that always has to be kind of put in a different bucket than just, well, what's the cost of the building?
Yeah. And again, with you on it, we just have, unfortunately, we have a lot of budgetary factors to consider. And I think that should be one of the things we do not consider coming from the project. I would rather keep personally, I would rather keep a higher sustainability building without a gymnasium and leave the possibility of adding the gymnasium on in the future. But again, that's what this meeting is going to be, is a bunch of those proposals. And if I'm not hearing things about sustainable building practices, that's something I'm going to be asking about.
Right, and
maybe
how can we,
it may be a successful way to get those built in, just as you were saying, to have that front loaded, to have that be an assumption of the project, not something, oh, by the way, have we talked about that yet? In other words, say, we're going to start with the baseline is sustainable, because we've already done the cost estimation, and
Right.
anyone who cares can read the cost estimation all they want. But in other words, have that big number up front, the 10K, whatever the number is, $100 million, whatever that big number first, and then you can always back up from that. But it's much more difficult in a committee, in a group decision, to start with a low number and work it up.
And, you know, eventually the supervisors are gonna have to make a decision. I don't think that's gonna come anytime soon, because we have a lot of discussions to have as far as our options and
Right.
cost estimates. We're supposed to get a cost estimate tomorrow, I think, about what kind of revenue Hackett Gymnasium will bring in and that kind of thing. So that these are all things we have to weigh into it. But like I said,
So-
I'm with you guys on pushing for the sustainable building.
Right, but let's find out what kind of income solar panels will bring in also. Right?
Yeah.
That's another revenue source for the building in a sense. Can I ask, is that an in-person meeting?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, it's in person.
I think
It will be
it'll still
broadcast
a
as
Zoom
well.
option. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But I could be here and,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, you can be there with a big sign if you want in the back. Yeah, that's or just a big solar panel.
Bring the
Jim,
pen.
I might.
you're able to be
No,
there for sure.
I will be there.
And
It is
Kurt,
open for
Can you
attendance.
be there?
That's,
June 15th, next Tuesday.
yeah,
It seems to me that if EAC is represented by both of you, and there's chance for commentary, and you guys have been working with Tanya, with Ready for 100, it would be so good to have multiple voices from EAC at that meeting.
I can't be there.
It's okay, but if these guys can be, wouldn't that be great if both of you could?
Just
I can't be
as
there.
a heads up, it's going to be a long meeting. So I'm not sure when the agenda is supposed to come, but just buckle up. for
Well,
that.
I'm gonna be there because this is to me, this is a critical inflection point potentially, right?
Yes.
As the asteroid starts to get closer to the Earth, you can't move it anymore.
As someone who's not super thrilled with some of the decisions we made in this building, I would like to see some of those issues rectified in the next one.
Okay, so I can,
what time does that start?
7 o'clock.
Seven.
It's in the big.
So Dan, did I hear correctly that it's, you said by the basketball courts and the tennis courts, is that?
That's correct.
Correct.
That is.
I think that's
the current-
That's
That's
the
better
current
solution, I agree with you.
speculation.
That's an
It
accurate-
keeps things more compact.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, or from what Stephanie mentioned, the discussion of moving the courts would be towards field 1, which I believe is the field right when you come into Doyle, right into Central Park.
Okay.
So we would essentially be replacing one of the soccer fields with the courts, which would still leave us 4 soccer fields across Central
Oh,
Park.
thank God. So it's not going anywhere near Hartswood so far.
No.
I mean, who doesn't want to play basketball all the way out by the woods? But there's other options as well.
Yeah.
Something this group might find interesting. If you know Ash Way out on the northwest side of Doylestown, currently all farmland. That's Doylestown Township property out there that we have as open space, and we lease it out to farmers at the moment. Now, there's one of the things we were talking about, if we felt the need to put another soccer field in somewhere, like that's a possibility. I would personally rather leave it open space, but just an interesting fact. I don't know if this group knew that was our property.
I didn't know.
There is another agenda item that I think it will address that coming up. Is there anybody else who has commentary about the upcoming board meeting, June 15th, 7 p.m., about the rec/community center?
Well, I just want to point out that if you saw the township newsletter, this is on the front page, the front cover. This is the cover story of the newsletter. So I don't know whether that was in response to our note or not, but obviously they're making another effort to inform people.
There's a lot of input, let's put it that way, that we're gathering from residents across the
But
township.
But I was
Yeah.
very glad to see that it was front and center on the newsletter.
Yeah, it's not some we're trying to sneak through or anything. We want feedback from the community on that. That's one of the reasons why I'm personally more considering, like, okay, is the gymnasium necessary? And that kind of thing. And yeah, we'll see. It's going to be ultimately a reflection of what the community wants. I hope. I'm not intending to jam what I want down people's throats if the community doesn't want it.
And Jim, just to go for your concern, that article was written about 2 months before your letter.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well, whatever, it makes you feel better about
No,
it.
listen, then I'm glad that, then I guess we were not off base to recognize the fact that people didn't know about this.
No, you weren't, and that is one of the efforts we as administration are going out of our way to try to make this information available.
okay, gang, I guess buckle up on that, huh? All right, so, Anne, item B under ongoing. Anne isn't here tonight, but she did send us information about this proposal for the leaf and yard waste pickup that Anne and Colleen Mullen were looking at. We're just gonna table that for now because Colleen is running for supervisor. She has a job, she has kids. And although this was an idea that we took a look at, we're gonna have to wait to continue that discussion. Brochure on pesticides. Nell's not on the meeting tonight. Marcello, you're here. Heidi's not on the meeting tonight. We are working on a brochure. I don't know if you can join us, Marcello, but on June 17th, we do have a follow-up meeting on the brochure.
Okay.
Ann Woodbury took a good hard look at the draft that we presented last month and revised it considerably. Mel Scott, the resident who got us started on this in December, liked Ann's revisions. We'll look at them again. But at our meeting last month, there was some concern about the doom and gloom aspect of that draft. Ann has lightened it up without making it, without watering it down. So, Marcello, I'll let you know when that meeting is. I don't know if you can make it or not, but I want to make sure you get to see the revision. So I don't think you saw it, but I want you to look at it.
I saw the original, not the revised version.
Say that again?
I saw the original, I believe, not the revised version during the
Right.
comment period, but I didn't see it after that. But I'm more than happy to take a look at it again.
Okay, I'll make sure you get to see the revisions that Ann came up with. And then on the, our next meeting is, what did I say, the 17th? Yeah, June 17th. So that's still a work in progress. We'll get it done. Birdtown. Heidi sent us an update. She sent us all an update. No, maybe she didn't. Did you get an
It
update?
was in the newsletter.
There was something in the newsletter, yes.
There was something.
She
in the
wrote a
newsletter.
piece in the newsletter that
Okay.
updated the
Okay,
bird
so
thing.
we probably don't have to go over that again. Any questions about Birdtown? She's not here, but it's in the newsletter, as
Yeah.
you said. Okay. Invasive plant of the month. We're behind on that. We didn't get the May. We had calorie pear, I think, was ready for May. We never got it into the display case. And was it on social media and on?
I don't think I got a copy of it.
Okay, is that what happened?
I think that's what happened. I had looked for it last week because we did build out the database of past flyers. So now if you go pull up the webpage on the EAC page, then you'll see the invasive species. At the bottom, there's an accordion that actually will have all of the flyers that we can find.
Okay.
And I was looking for last month and I just wasn't able to locate it in my email or.
Would you email Heidi and ask her for that, because she now has another one ready?
Okay,
Yeah, so
I'll make sure I get both.
and when she sends you one, I do need that hard copy to put in the display case. That display case is getting some attention,
It is.
and I'm really happy about that. So if we post our invasive plant of the month down by the garden, it would be a good addition to social media and the township website. So
And what's the one for the next month?
Calorie.
No, calorie repair
was
this
May.
month.
Calorie pear
All repairs in there now.
Yeah.
is, yeah, that's in there now, and the new one is, give me a moment. Oh, I can find it here. Okay, that's why.
Not weed, was it not weed?
No, I don't think it was knotweed. Let's see. Okay,
Yeah, that drop down looks great.
that's-
It's good.
What is it?
On the website, just did the drop down of the prior invasive plants in the month.
Oh,
repair the
okay.
same
Oh, it's
as-
butterfly bush,
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
buddleia. So this month is the newest invasive is butterfly bush. So we have Callery pear and then.
Is Callery pear the same as Bradford pear?
It's the same. Callery, I think, is the botanic name maybe,
Okay, all right.
and Bradford is the cultivar, but it's still the same miserable tree. It's another one that makes me mad. Anyway, because they're still selling it, people are still
Yeah.
planting it.
That's the one that gets a really strong
Yeah,
smell.
they're still
Yeah.
planting
It
wing you
smells-
It
on.
smells so bad. My neighbor planted them all along.
They smell bad, they don't live long, and they break.
Yeah, they're great.
They're awful.
They're useless to the insects. They're useless to the insects, to the wildlife.
Absolutely
Nothing lives
useless.
on them.
Yeah, we
There
don't
there might
want,
as well be statues.
we don't want those planted anymore, okay?
Well, they're still planting wing euonymus.
Yeah, wing euonymus too.
Yeah,
I know, making us all nuts, right? Okay, anyway, we're trying to do our part to stop this. So the next item is the native plant demonstration garden. We were actually sort of frozen out on our normal May, or our normal May workday. It was so cold, it was so wet. So I rescheduled and we had 10 people show up on an unscheduled day. That was pretty good. 10 people came, we got a lot of work done, didn't we, Eric? Got a lot of work done again. And then we'll have another work day at the end of June. We do need to start collecting photographs for the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society garden contest again. I haven't received specific directions about that yet, but Aaron, we're gonna have to work together on that one.
Okay.
It gets a little bit complicated, and we do need a lot of photographs.
I have some, I'll try to send some.
That'd be great. So Aaron, can you be the collector of the photographs?
Yeah, people want to send those to me, that's fine.
All right.
There's a Dropbox, we can put them in.
How do I, okay, I'll email you. a form.
Just email it to me.
Okay, some of them look big though, that's the problem, they're big files. Well, I could, yeah.
Yeah, I think if anybody has
I know what
pictures
you
of the
mean.
garden.
Okay.
What?
I know what you mean.
Okay, so we'll send them to you directly, Aaron.
Or if you have large ones, just email me and we'll work it out.
Okay, thank you.
Are they
Also,
coming with the landscaping on this building?
What do you mean?
Have they haven't done it all, have they? What,
I think it's complete.
is it? I have to check it.
As far as I know, it's complete from what I've seen, but
I'm sorry, is what complete? I missed that.
the landscaping for this
For
building.
this
For this
building.
For
building.
this building, with all that liriopy? You see all the liriopy?
Now, I did see the, I parked this way, so IKEA, I saw the, yeah, the IKEA, I saw.
Marty and Don Richardson put together a beautiful landscape plan for this building. For the most part, it was ignored.
Okay.
And I'm sorry about that, because it was native plants, it was varied, it was textured, it was a beautiful plan. We don't know what happened, but there's very little from your plan that actually got planted.
Well, I know they made some changes in the front, but I'll check it out. when I get a chance.
What is liriopy?
Say again?
What is liriopy? Is that a-
Liriopy is just, it's
Lirio, it's grassy,
yeah,
grows this high, and then it gets a blue spike with a purple flower.
Is it invasive? Is it a
it's
foreign?
aggressive.
No, invasive, no.
No, not invasive.
It does spread, but
Is
not
it a native?
invasive.
No, it's not invasive.
And you can walk on it if you just walk on it a couple of times.
And
But
I,
it's great ground cover. It gets so thick that not even a weed comes up through it.
Yeah.
After it's established.
I wonder, Marty, Claire, would you let me know if it looks like privet out front? It looks to me like a whole bunch of privet, which is invasive. So I'm just worried about that. I'm just gonna say it publicly.
Well, I had specified some paraflora horse chestnut, which was just about getting ready, mine at home. It's just about getting ready to flower. Unbelievable for butterflies and insects. But it's hard to find.
Which one is that, Marty? Which one?
It's a paraflora horse chestnut.
Where's Chestnut? Okay.
You know, they'll take full sun or it's partial shade. It's a native, and it gets about 10.
But you don't want it on your sidewalks though, right? Because it drops those heavy spiky balls, right?
No, it does, but they're not as big as, the other one is a big tree,
Yeah,
so the fruit's much larger.
yeah.
This is more of a shrub,
Oh, okay.
and they're maybe the size of a prune.
What's it called again? What's it called?
Horse chestnut.
It's also
Paraflora horses. No, I'm trying to think of the common name,
Buckeye,
but yeah,
yeah, Buckeye,
Buckeye horse chestnut or Buckeye?
Buckeye.
okay,
And you're
That's a
thinking
common
it's a horse chestnut.
It's
Is
Is
it
also
it
great
bottle
plant?
brush Buckeye?
bottle brush Buckeye is.
Bottle bush.
Buckeye, that's it.
Brush, Buckeye,
Buckeye, that's it.
Wow, that's not a horse chestnut.
No,
It's another name for it,
yeah.
the shrub.
I think it's a dwarf horse chestnut is what they call it.
What, did you say
I've got a
dwarf?
bunch of them.
Yeah, dwarf horse chestnut is what I believe they
Are they
call it
hard
as
to
well.
find?
Okay.
Are they hard to find? I've got a bunch
Yeah.
of them. I got seedlings, so I can,
Oh, boy,
if
did
they
they
want some in
see.
front of the
I'm
township.
gonna dig some up in your yard.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't want to, that seed drops, 24 hours, hit in the air, it won't germinate. You got to get that horse chestnut and get it out of the sun and plant it right away. But if you let it go for a day, it won't germinate.
I wish there were some of those around this building, because you put that in the plan.
Yeah, they're on this side here.
Are there
And
some?
and I told them I had some, and I would have given it to them, and nobody came to see me.
No, oh,
Maybe someone will just show up there. Wouldn't that be nice?
wouldn't it be nice?
And there was a grove of sassafras, and that's another bugger to get a hold of.
We still need to do that.
I've got a bunch of sassafras saplings. Maybe some of those will show up.
Wow,
I didn't get you.
I have sassafras saplings. I have about, I would count about 10 of them right
Nice.
now growing.
nice. We still have to talk about your sassafras grove at the
Yeah.
garden. In the expansion area, there's plenty of room for that.
Good.
So you have to help us pick out the spot, and then we'll try to get those plants. Because we've been talking about that for 2 years. Let's do it this fall, maybe. Okay, moving along. That's the demonstration garden report for now. Ready for 100, Jim, Tony, Kurt.
Well, I would say, I mean, Aaron is doing, I think, an incredible job of doing an assessment of the energy use in the township. And has a plan which he's presenting to, I guess, to the board of supervisors.
Correct.
So, I frankly, I wish I could take credit, but it seems like Aaron and Kurt, I don't want to dismiss Kurt's efforts, but these guys are really getting it done. It's really, I feel like we're really making progress. And it's, I'd like to assist you, but you seem to be, you're all over this, so it's terrific.
Thank you.
It's really terrific. So I think that's moving along, and I think what we want to do is just, stay in touch with you and support what, look at your recommendations, help you where we can, and and advocate to the board of supervisors to make some of these efficiencies you've talked about. So I feel like we're really starting to make progress. Really.
Wonderful. That's
Good.
so encouraging. Thanks, Aaron.
And then at the county level, we were in touch with the county, and they're obviously very active, and we're going to try to continue a dialogue with the county in terms of how we can work with them, hopefully expand our reach to some additional communities. We've talked about perhaps having a leadership summit with the other Ready for 100 groups in Southeast Pennsylvania. So that's something we're talking about. I was just on a call today actually with Andrew was on the call also, but it was led by Jim Wiley and in Westchester. It's the Westchester Council of Governments. They call it the Westchester Council of Governments. There's 7 communities working together, and they're way out ahead in terms of engaging the municipality. But now they're on to engaging residents, small businesses, and corporate entities and school boards in their area. So they're setting a plan now for community engagement. They're really big on a community engagement at this point. So we can learn a lot from them, I think. So it's little by little, it's coming together.
Is the county aware of this community engagement effort
Well,
in Westchester?
So what I would say is that the county at this point is really primarily concerned with what the county can do quickly in terms of energy conservation and efficiency. That's the first step. However, when we talked to
Harvey.
Steve Harvey, yes, he was talking.
Bob Harvey.
I'm sorry, Bob Harvey. Yeah, he was talking about the CPACE program, which provides low-interest loans to businesses to move to renewable energy. He was talking about. Do you want to talk about the idea of a multi-county solar farm? So the county's not talking about partnering with the other counties to finance and make benefit of a regional solar farm that would provide, local generation of electricity to be shared across the various county facilities. And then if there's excess capacity, some of that could even go to some of the municipal facilities or, potentially even to businesses. So
This has really ballooned. I
It
mean,
is.
when we started talking about this, 3 or 4 years ago, it was just a tiny little effort. A couple of municipalities were talking about it, but it sounds to me like this is growing hugely, and it's so encouraging.
Well, and the involvement by the county is very significant because, number one, they bring a lot of purchasing power to it.
Mhm.
And the other thing is they have interactions with all of the townships.
Yeah.
And so they're looking to help bring along the townships. They put out a model ordinance to facilitate solar going in, solar and wind and, various other kinds of things going in. And they're hoping that the townships start adopting this model ordinance so that there is no, artificial boundaries between townships, keeping the developers from doing what they want to do. As soon as they cross the street, they can no longer do it, right? If you've got that model ordinance in a broad area, then the developers know that if they go in, then they can put the solar in, they can put the wind in, they can put the geothermal in, whatever it is, because the ordinance is then spread across all of the different townships.
Where are we? Where is
Well-
Doylestown Township on this model ordinance?
right, so I believe that we previously talked about that we have a meeting set up with the Planning Commission for September, I believe. I think you told me that
I
actually.
think, is
Is that familiar?
it the planning commission that we're meeting? I thought it was a local, and this is, yes, the township.
Township's Planning
I'm
Commission.
not counting.
No,
Right,
Township Planning
there
Commission.
is a meeting coming up to talk about several issues, and this is one of them,
All right, okay.
with our planning commission.
But from the county's perspective, the more townships that sign up for that model ordinance, the easier it makes the process of spreading green energy across the county.
So when we have this meeting in September, will we have the model ordinance?
We have it already.
We
Yes,
have
we
it.
already have,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it.
I
I need to
think
see it. I haven't seen it,
Okay,
honestly, I need to see it.
all right, I'll send it to you.
Maybe we should all have a copy.
I'm happy to, in fact, I was going to send it to all of the other counties that have a Ready for 100 group. There's no reason,
We should all have that.
there's no reason the other counties couldn't adopt the same thing, right? Make it easy.
Do this mass mailing, okay, this big email.
Well, okay, it is on we do it on the Ready for 100 Google chat, so I don't know if you check that, but we'll put it out there. I'm not sure if I've sent it to you, but we definitely do have it.
Okay, well, I think everybody on the CAC ought to see that model ordinance.
I'll send it
And
out.
not only members, but also our attenders,
Yes.
yes. Okay, guys, that is all I have on the agenda.
I got one thing to add to that, speaking of planning stuff and all that. People who might be interested, the county is holding, on June 15th, the Bucks 2040 planning meeting. It's a meeting open to the public, and they're gonna kind of lay out like the vision they have going forward until 2040. There are 2 times for that, both on the 15th, 11 o'clock and 7 o'clock. I'm hoping I can make the 11 one.
Okay, this is the county.
Yeah.
And that's on the same day that we have the township meeting.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that, okay.
So how do
So
we
I will not
access
be
that?
making the 7 o'clock one.
No, Dan, how do we access that?
I have the email somewhere. I'll forward it to you, Janine. You can send it out to everyone else.
Can I just pass on a fun fact about this? Because I was reading about it recently that installing solar in Germany and Australia costs half the price it does in the United States. And when questioned, one of the main reasons was because of all these local ordinances. Because Germany has one rule, you want to put solar panels on there, this is your, this is how it has to be done.
Do you have an article on that, a reference that I
I
can
do, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, in some places, I mean, it's literally development by development.
Yeah.
We were looking at Florida real estate, and it's insane. It's totally insane.
Arguably, this model ordinance thing is the single major, most expensive barrier to installing
Yeah.
solar in the whole country.
Well, Pico's not gonna bed of roses either, right?
No, Pico is dragging their feet as best they can, but having the ordinance that at least
So one set of rules, like they
clears
don't have
the
to.
way. It doesn't get anything done, but it allows for it to be done everywhere, if you can get it adopted everywhere.
And it's rules like, the panels have to be 2 foot from the edge of the house, edge of the gutter, or 1 foot in one township and 2 foot in another, and somebody has to do all that research, and that's what adds all the cost to these installers.
All right, so, all right,
I'll get that to everybody.
that'd be good for
I'll
all
send
of
that
us to look at. Thanks, guys. Is there anything else that is not on the agenda that we should address tonight?
Oh, my mistake on that planning thing, it's just for elected officials, municipal managers, and planning commission members.
So that's not open to the public,
Yeah, my mistake.
okay.
This is why I reread it before I sent it out.
Well, you'll be there at the 11 o'clock. right?
I'm going to try to move some work stuff around.
Thanks. We need your presence, Dan. Okay, so our last call for any other items? All right, so let's have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Adjourned.
Very good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
The next meeting is July 13th.
Yes, sir.